Says graph the parent function f of x equals x squared and label your graph. That's the very first thing, okay? So as I come down here, what am I looking at to graph the parent graph? The numbers that are there, right? These are your x values for the parent graph. These are the y values for the parent graph, okay? So we look at them as the x value of -2 and 4. So -2, +4 is right here. -1, +1 right here. 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. Put them together with a gentle curve. And let me tell you, some of these parabolas, I see some people going like this. No, it doesn't go out. It just goes kind of up slowly. Up and out, yes, but not very quickly. Okay? And it says to label it. So this would be f of x, parent graph. All right? Yes. It was in the red basket, back by the door. Any questions on how to graph that parent graph? Okay, so we got the first part done then. Letter A. Letter B says, identify the following and then describe the transformation from the parent function to g of x, which is -1/2 times quantity x minus 3 squared plus 1. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on here, okay? A lot. So first of all, let's break it down. A, what is my A value, Justice? Perfect. -1/2. That's what you see and look at out front. What is my H value, Toby? Perfect. Yes, this is the opposite. It looks like a -3. It's a +3. And my K value, how about Morgan? What's my K value there? 1. Yes. And so my vertex, my new vertex of my transformed parabola is going to be what? Fiery? 3, 1. Very good. It is the H and the K value. All right, so this is kind of step 2. Are there any questions about this? If you don't have this, please write it down. All right? All right, the next part says state the transformations. Where do we get the transformations from? Where do I need to be looking? Yeah, where do I need to be looking for these transformations? In the vertex, yeah. Basically, it's your A, your H, and your K, right? It's those values that you have, okay? So A is a -1/2. -1/2. Now, I'm going to tell you, this one actually has 2 transformations. One focuses on the negative and one focuses on the half. So the negative, what's the fancy word we use with the negative value? Reflects. Yes, we say it reflects across the x-axis. Now, if you didn't have them in the right order, that's okay. Order doesn't matter. We just want to know what are the changes. But the negative talks about reflecting across the x-axis, okay? Now, what about this 1/2? I'm going to do that with a different color. That also is a change from the parent graph. What do we call that? Say it again. Yeah, it is a vertical compression or compressed Vertical compression of, and you know how when we have numbers, we always have to talk about the numbers. You have to talk about the numbers here too. So it's a vertical compression of 1/2. All right. Miss Dee, can I just say, scrunched or, smashed? No, you can't. All right. We're young mathematicians. We're going to use the appropriate language, appropriate words. Any questions about those first two? Okay, so then we look at the 3, and the 3 is the H. What's the mathematical term that we use with H? Translates or translating, translates, and it's always 3. Even if it's -3, you're moving it or translating it 3 units, and then you tell me the direction. So this is 3 units.
Pardon this interruption. Beta testing continues. Students should report to their AM testing room. Thank you.
Translates 3 units in what direction? Right. Good job. To the right. How do I know it's right? Because it's positive. H is horizontal. You're either going to the right or to the left. Okay? And the last one. 1. What's the fancy term we use for that? Again? Don't let me fall over. Thank you. Translates 1 unit where? Up. But does everybody see it's always the positive unit? It's a positive unit, and then you either go right or left. It's a positive unit, and you go up or down. Okay? Any questions about any of those? All right, so that's the third part. The fourth part, fill in the table, then graph g of x. Hairy x-rays make me want to yak. Hairy x-rays says h plus x. These are the x values in red. My h value, you already have that. So use that from up above. Let me see if I can get a different color. Green, blue, orange. My h value is 3, so I need to add 3 and say 3 plus, 3 plus, 3 plus, 3 plus, 3 plus. Okay, don't be lazy. Yes, it's tedious. Rewrite it each time. So then to get my new x coordinate, I'm going to say 3 plus -2 is 1. 3 plus -1 is 2. 3 plus 0 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. These are your new x coordinates for your new parabola. Okay? And finally, for the new y, I need to take y times a. Y times a. Somebody told me yesterday, oh, I thought we were adding. No, it's y times a, and then add your k. So my a, ooh, this is a little trickier. Who did this problem? I did. Y times -1/2. So we have to say times -1/2 times -1/2 times -1/2 times -1/2. Is that someone at the door? Times -1/2. And then my k value, I need to add 1. Add 1. Add 1. Add 1. And add 1. Good morning. Grab that Bellworth right there. So this is the hardest part, I think, is trying to find usually the new y coordinate. So 4 times -1/2. What's half of 4? 2, and then times negative would be -2. -2 plus 1 should be a -1. What is half of 1? 0.5. Make that a -0.5. -0.5 plus 1 is going to be 1/2 or 0.5. And this is trickier, but we can handle it. 0 times anything is 0 plus 1 is 1. Half of 1, a negative half of 1 is 0.5, so that's negative half plus 1 is 1/2. And half of 4 is 2 times the negative is negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. I always like to check all of them. I just think it's smarter that way. And then you can double check because these values should be the same and these y values should be the same. Not the x values, okay? They should be in successive order, meaning 5 numbers all in a row. All right, so finally, let's plot these points. 1, -1. So that's 1 to the right and 1 down. 2, 1/2. So that's 2 to the right and only a half down. So it's not on 2 intersecting lines. Then I have 3, 1, 4, 1/2, and 5, -1. And you're like, man, that is really wide. Yes, it is. So this is the parabola going this way. Remember, my a value was -1/2. So it's negative, meaning it opens downward, and the 1/2 means it's wider out, okay? And that definitely is wider out. Okay, yes. Did I do something wrong? Very possible.
The 3-1 is on the coordinate 3-0.
Way to go, Thede. Good, dum-dum sucker for you. Good catch. Good catch. I think I saw Fiery look at that too, didn't you? Uh-huh. Guys, I make mistakes.
I give you a bonus for when you're close by and with the crash.
Okay. Give me just a second. Are the other ones right? 3, 1. 2/2 should be up. Oh my gosh, you guys.
I don't think this is really a great graph.
Oh, it's a great graph. It's just I messed it up. So 2, 1/2 would be up here, and 4, 1/2 would be here. So it's still wide, not as wide. Okay, so your question was for like which one? The y coordinate of, which point was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? So Broughton, just tell me. This one? This one? Which one were you looking at? Like this?
When you add it and multiply the fraction.
Okay, so for this first one, it's kind of hard to tell because I've got it all smashed up in here. But this is 4. This value was 4 right here. And then I'm taking, first of all, I say half of 4. Half of 4 is 2. And then it's times a negative, so that would be -2. And -2 plus 1 gives me -1. Now this one is a 1. If I take half of 1, that's half. And it's a -half. -half plus 1 gives me half. -half, think of negative 50 cents off. A 50-cent off coupon plus it costs $1 means it only costs you half $1, 50 cents. 0 times negative whatever is 0 plus 1. And then these are going to be the same. 1 times -1/2, half of 1. They're going to be easier tomorrow. I guarantee it. I wanted to do this one to kind of stretch you a little bit. Okay? So, dumb sucker coming to you, Montez. Good catch. And the rest of you, you gotta say something. I do make mistakes, okay?
So you have it.
You have it, and then multiply by the negative. because it's the negative of it. So 4, half of 4 is 2. And then take the times negative is negative 2. And negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Half of 1, and you can take on your calculator, negative 0.5 times 1 plus 1, and you'll get the answer. But I just do it, if kids can't think, what's 4 times a half? I just think it's half of, and then they usually get it quicker. All right. Good problems there. Okay, so put that to the side. You are going to turn in all of your bell work tomorrow. So that is the yellow sheet, which has bell work 1 through 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. If you don't have one of those, they are over there. Are the notes on Canvas? I will try to make sure that they are. Okay? All right. So let's take out the review. The review. I hope you got a chance to work on that a little bit. I am here to answer any and all of your questions. Any problems that you want to go over. And I will upload answers and work probably during 6th period today. And I will put it either on today, and I'll probably put it right under the main module part. So you can check.
They're talking about this paper.
That paper, and then bell work 4, 5, and 6, which are on separate. You need a review. Should be the last one of those 4 at the top. Who's got a question? Or who wants to check and answer? The last one. Right? No, not that far. Up, right there. I think that should be the review. Questions? Which one? 3A. 3A. Yes, axis of symmetry. Find the axis of symmetry for the following functions. Show all work to receive credit. So axis of symmetry, one of those formulas up at the top is the axis of symmetry. Which one? X equals opposite of B all over 2A. But first of all, we have to make sure that what we have is in general or standard form, which that one is. And it's helpful if we say, what's my A value, what's my B value, and what's my C value. So what is my A value in 3A? 4. What is my B value? Is it 8 or is it negative 8? And this is a great point. You said positive 8. You said negative 8. Why do you say positive 8? Well, it is, but only for the H value. That's the opposite. That's why we make that funny made-up word. But for the B's, and I'm glad this came up today, it is just like it's written. Okay? So this is going to be negative 8. And this is going to be how much? Negative 5. Right. Okay. All right. So, good morning. Looking at this, X is equal to, if B is negative 8, what's the opposite of negative 8? Yes, positive 8 divided by 2 times my A value of 4. So 8 divided by 2 times 4 is 8 is 1. So X is equal to 1, and we already even gave you the X. Okay, so X equals 1, that is your axis of symmetry. If you have it on a coordinate plane, that means it would go through that point of 1 on the x-axis. Okay? Now, somebody said, Miss Thede, I took 8 divided by 2 times 4 on my calculator, and I got 16. And they're right. If you do it on the calculator, if you take 8 divided by 2 times 4, you are going to get 16. And that is not the right answer. But this is not 8 divided by 2 times 4. This is 8 divided by 2 times 4. So that division bar kind of acts like parentheses for what is below. So be careful when you use the calculator. Okay?
Why'd you use the 2 from when you multiply the 2 and 4?
The 2, that's part of the formula. X equals the opposite of B divided by 2A. So if you look at the top of that paper, here's that formula right here. But you have to know that that is the axis of symmetry formula. But the 2 is already built in. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Do we want to see B, or do we have other questions? Anybody else? Yeah. Number 1. Use the equation to follow the answering to answer the following questions. Y equals 3 times x minus 5 squared minus 2. This equation is written in what form? What do you think it is written in, TJ? Any idea? Does it look like a general standard form? Does it look like a vertex form? Could we get the vertex from it? Or does it look like factored form? Which one? Vertex, yes. It is the vertex form because your vertex is your H and K value. A is equal to what amount here? 3. Sydney, what's my H value? Good. Yeah, she didn't fall for it. Looks like -5, but it's +5. And my K value, Toby? -2. Okay. Good job. What other questions? Come on, fire away, guys. Fire away. Fire. Fiery. Sorry. No, just kidding. 4. Ooh, good one. Graph. Given the graph, identify the following. All right. Vertex. What is my vertex? Somebody? Anybody? 3, 1. Yeah, and I would strongly say mark it on the graph. You don't have to, but you can, and it makes it visually obvious to you. Now be careful, don't say 1, 3. Remember, you got to go along the x-axis. You crawl before you can stand up. I don't know if that helps you, but that's one way people sometimes remember. You got to go to the side. You got to crawl before you can stand up or go down. And if we're talking about ordered pairs, please make sure we give them a mathematical hug with the parentheses on either side. Okay? Axis of symmetry. It is not 3. X equals 3. Yes. The vertex is always on the axis of symmetry, and it is a line. So we have to talk about it as x equals. And remember, it's always the same value as the x coordinate of your vertex because your vertex is on that line. Any point on that line has an x coordinate of 3. Y-intercept. Who did I talk to? Anthony, what's my y-intercept? -8. Very good. The y-intercept is where the y-axis crosses your graph. So you could say -8, or you could say, and you don't have to put both, 0, -8. Roots. Circle them first. Your roots, your x-intercepts, your solutions, your zeros, they all talk about the same thing. Justice, what are my roots here for number 4? Can you see?
1 and 2.
No, not 1 and 2. Your roots are going to be where your graph crosses the x-axis.
0, 2.
It's not 0, 2. 2 and 4. Yes. And let's see. Would this be acceptable if I put 2, 4? No, because that is the point. 2 to the right and 4 up. And that is not a root. So make sure you write it as 2 and 4. Not plus. That's my little and. Or 2 and 4, you know, some people go like this, or you can put 2, 0, 4, 0. Okay, those are all your options. E, as x approaches positive infinity, the function f of x approaches what? Negative infinity. How do we know this? It's going down. I'm yelling timber. Okay, as x approaches negative infinity, f of x approaches negative infinity. Will these ever be different? Always the same. If you're talking about parabolas, it's either both positive up, both negative or down. Okay. All right. What else? 8. Oh, that's the big boy, isn't it? No, it's not. 7 is the big boy. That's kind of like the bell work we just said. Match the equations with its graph shown below. What form are all of these written in? It doesn't ask you that, but you really need to figure out what the vertex is. So find the vertex and then also look at the A value. Is it positive or is it negative? So what is my vertex here for this first equation? What is my vertex for that first equation? 2, negative 3. And my A value is... A is a positive 1. Okay, so let's just do this first. What's my vertex for this one to its right? Negative 2. Remember, opposite. Negative 2, negative 3. And my A value is negative 1. Vertex for this one. Negative 2. Negative 3, and my A value is positive 1. I'm talking about the A value. You're a step ahead of me. That's all right. And over here, my vertex is 2, negative 3, and an A value is negative 1. All right, so the ones that are A is negative 1. What does that tell you? A is negative 1. What does that tell you? It's going down. A is negative 1. It's reflected across the x-axis. So B and D are going to be one of these two on the right. So this is 2, negative 3. And it's going down, so that means this one is going to be B. D, just double check. Oh, wait, that's not going down. This one over here is negative 2, negative 3. That vertex, negative 2, negative 3. It's opening downward, so C goes here. The vertex here is 2, 3. And it's opening upward. Nope, I missed that. 2, negative 3. Check that. 2, negative 3. Opens upward. So this is A. And the last one over here, negative 2, negative 3. And that opens upward, so that is D. What is this called? A max or min right here? Max, it's the cherry on top. How about this one? Minimum. Over here, max and min. You don't have to do that. It's just a little extra.
Is this worth the grade? This-
Might be if I collect it tomorrow. That homework is worth a grade. What else? What else? What questions? What problems? Sabron, put it away. Come on, man. 7. Oh, gosh, really? It's going for the big boy. Ooh. All right. Parent function. Need to graph it. Here's your x values. Here's your y. We can do this pretty quickly. After a while, you just know, okay, 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, 1, 2, 4, and negative 2, 4. That's the parent function. I need to label it f of x, parent function. Okay, f of x, parent function. All right, so we got that one done. What's my a value? Give me my a. 2, give me my h. 2, give me my k. Negative 5, what's my vertex? 2, negative 5. Look at that, that was terrific. All right, so a is equal to 2. Is that a transformation from the parent graph? Well, what is my a value here for the parent graph? It would be 1. So is that a change? Yes, it is. What do we call that? What is this? It is a vertical stretch of 2. Justice, do you have all this? You should write it down if you don't. Okay, vertical stretch of 2. It's not negative, so it's not reflected across the x-axis. H is equal to 2. How do I write that? Translates. Get number. What's my number? 2 units right. Yes. And K is equal to negative 5. So I say translates. Don't say negative 5. 5 units down. Yeah. Down tells you the direction. We don't want to say negative 5 down. That's almost like a double negative. Negative 5 down would almost be positive, but never mind. All right. So everybody got that? Fiery, is that your music? Who's got music? Montez, is that your music? Turn it down. I'm old and I can hear that. All right, H is 2. Add 2 to the x values. 2 plus, 2 plus, 2 plus, 2 plus. 2 plus negative 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are my new x coordinates of my new parabola. Times A, that's times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. Oh, Miss Didi is so tedious, I know. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 5 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2, minus 5 is negative 3. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 5 is negative 5. 1 times 2 is 2, minus 5 is negative 3. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 5 is 3. These are your new coordinates. Sabron, come on. You got all this? Good. Great. I'm glad to hear that. 0, 3. Check my points. I didn't do very well the last time. 1, negative 3. 2, negative 5. 3, negative 3. And 4, 3. Boom, bada bing. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Our new parabola, and yes, we should label it g of x. Okay? All right. So tomorrow is the test. I will collect your bell work. I may or may not collect your review.
Don't collect it,
Don't collect it. We just went over several parts of it. And the test. If you haven't turned in 12.1 or 12.2, the homework, you get that done. Okay? Yes.